When working in almost any live job site setting, your team is bound to encounter some type of underground utility. The web of utilities spans multiple types and decades of overlapping installation, so there is significant risk of striking a line while working. Utility lines that you may see include gas, water, electric, telephone, internet, or sewer. An underground utility line strike happens when a piece of construction equipment hits a cable or pipe connecting a utility to the surrounding businesses and homes. Line strikes cause serious safety risks to you, the job site, and the homes and businesses surrounding it. A line strike also causes setbacks in schedule and job site budget. Line strike incidents are listed among the most dangerous, most common, and most preventable safety hazards in the construction industry, and the root cause of damage is often linked to simple steps, such as not clearly marking lines or not properly protecting them. That's why preventing line strikes is so important. This training's purpose is to help your team understand Jordan Foster's Underground Utility Strike Prevention Plan. In the following chapters, you'll learn the step-by-step process that will help your team successfully locate, coordinate, and protect underground utility lines throughout a construction project. The Underground Utility Strike Prevention Plan, or UUSPP, consists of three main areas: locate, coordinate, and protect. Before work of any kind begins on a job site, schedule and hold a UUSPP kickoff meeting with the superintendent and the entire job site team. You will review the Underground Utility Strike Prevention Kickoff Meeting form, which includes discussion of goals, scope overview, and plans for pothole drawings. Once the form has been filled out, all team members will sign. Your signature confirms your commitment to following all steps of the UUSPP procedure. Now that the job site team has been made aware of the activities, it will be the job of the task team to carry out the utility protection work. The first active step in the UUSPP process is to locate. We begin this work by calling 811 to have all possible utilities in the area properly located and marked so that the task team can protect the area. The project superintendent, or a competent task team member, will identify all proposed locations to be excavated, drilled, or bored with white marking paint. These marks must be in place before the utility locator arrives to ensure the correct area is being marked by the utility locators. Next, your superintendent will notify the local 1 call center, or 811. Then, you wait the required amount of time for all utility operators to respond to your request. Normally, that means about 2 working days. Once the waiting period has ended, the superintendent and task team must verify with 811 that all utilities have responded to the request and have given an all clear to move forward. Survey the site for evidence of unmarked pipelines, such as a gas meter or a riser. If these are found, make sure to notify 811 so they can verify the line before continuing. The survey must also include a 2D diagram of the utilities in the excavation area based on the markings provided. Next, photograph all markings before excavation work begins and clearly document the markings on all drawings, especially if excavation activities could destroy those markings. The goal is to maintain the markings throughout the excavation. In other words, respect the marks. In the next chapter, we'll talk through how to dig around the utility lines in preparation to support them. Once you've identified, located, and marked all utilities, the next step is to properly dig and support the lines, otherwise known as potholing. Non-destructive hydraulic soft digging or hand digging is required within 18 inches of all marked utilities, so careful attention is needed. Tools needed for potholing include hand tools and a hydro-vacuum excavator. When potholing, use this guidance for the best and safest results. First, do not assume utilities are located at the recommended depth. As a rule, consider a tolerance zone of up to 24 inches plus the width of the actual line to each side of a utility when locating is being performed. Once your soft digging reaches at least 8 inches deep and perpendicular to the line being located, heavy equipment can then be used. However, you may only use the heavy equipment to dig 6 inches parallel to the utility mark. Continue this process until the utility has been found. Once you find the utility, another survey must be performed. This is done for a few reasons: to document the actual location and depth of utilities compared to the markings, and to use this information to help identify design and coordination issues early, before any more work occurs. You've now successfully performed all tasks related to locating the utility lines. The next chapter will cover final coordination and communication tasks to complete before excavation begins. All right, we've located the utilities, surveyed them, and dug safely around them. Now it's time to communicate our updated plans to the job site team. Contractors have a responsibility to coordinate any excavation activities with all other contractors, subcontractors, and neighboring facilities. You must also confirm the location and marks of all privately owned utilities, the location of newly installed utilities, and a final review of the 2D model from your second survey. Once all of the steps have been completed, a UUSPP excavation and trenching pre-meeting must take place. The meeting must include the superintendent, foreman, operator, and all ground employees on the task team. During the meeting, you will review this form, which includes general information, job description and location, a reminder of existing utilities, information on any new construction or new utility installation, and the pre-task planning information. It also includes checklists to confirm all other pre-excavation protections and plans. All areas of this form must be reviewed, and outstanding tasks must be performed, agreed upon, and signed by all members of the meeting. Anytime there is a change to the job site, you must meet again, update the UUSPP form, and re-sign. All of these steps help make sure your work is safe and everyone is aware of your steps. Let's take a break to review the UUSPP form in greater detail. When starting an excavation on a job site, the first portion of work is dedicated to protecting the site. First, look for surface encumbrances or any existing structure near the work site that could be made unstable by excavation work. All surface encumbrances must be removed or supported before excavating to protect employee safety. For example, a power pole that may be undermined during the excavation should be removed prior to starting the work. If it can't be removed, it must be supported to prevent collapse once the work begins. Next, perform atmospheric testing if excavation reaches or exceeds a depth of 4 feet. And if an excavation will meet or exceed a depth of 5 feet, extra protection is needed, including a trench box, shoring, sloping, and benching for Class A and B soil. You must also provide access and egress, or entry and exit, for all excavations. For excavations that do not need a trench, structural ramps may be provided as the safe means of access or egress from excavations if they are used solely by employees and not equipment, and have cleats or other surface treatment to prevent slipping. When working with an excavation that needs a trench, you must follow different guidelines. You must provide a means of egress for all trenches that are 4 feet or more in depth. A means of egress must also be provided with no more than 25 feet of lateral travel for employees. In these cases, ladders are the most common method of providing a safe means of egress. Finally, you must protect your fellow employees from all possible hazards that can happen during excavations, including cave-ins, hazardous atmospheres, water accumulation, adjacent structures, loose rock or soil, and fall hazards. Employees are not permitted underneath loads handled by fitting or digging equipment and must stand away from any vehicle being loaded or unloaded to avoid being struck by any spillage or falling materials. Once you've successfully protected your job site, you may begin excavation while reducing the risk of line strikes. In the next chapter, we'll cover what to do if a line strike incident occurs. The purpose of this training is to reduce and eliminate underground utility line strikes. But when an incident occurs, Jordan Foster Construction has a process for reporting these events in the safest, most thorough way possible. A utility strike is defined as the defacing, scraping, displacement, penetration, destruction, or partial or complete severance of an underground facility or of any protective coating, housing, or other protective device of the utility, or the weakening of structural or lateral support of the utility. If you observe or encounter a utility line strike, you must follow all procedures outlined in Document B.01.01, Investigating and Reporting Procedures. Thanks for taking part in the Underground Utility Line Strike Prevention Program training. If you are still unsure about any of these processes, be sure to review the video topic or talk to your supervisor right away. Please adopt this information and be an active part of creating a safe place for Jordan Foster construction teams to work and build.